Well, I started off on the trading floors and I worked for a variety of trading firms and then started my own. Interest is just down generally across the board in crypto. And we're seeing the same thing as the industry is. The idea that they have to wait for an old man to ring a bell for them to be able to participate in a completely electronic marketplace, which trades around the clock globally.
Hi, my name is Jason Raznick, the CEO of Benzinga, and welcome to the Raz Report. As always, before we kick things off, I want to quickly tell you about what Benzinga is. Before I started Benzinga in 2010, there were very few places to get real-time information on financial markets. I thought it was unfair that Wall Street had access to this information before the average Joe investor. So I created Benzinga to level the playing field for you, the retail investor. Benzinga is for the people and by the people. Now, let's dive into the show. All right, welcome to this edition of the Raz Report. We have the FinTech Power Hour, and we have a power player for sure. Steve Quirk, Chief Brokerage Officer of Robinhood Markets. Steve, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. It's really good to be here. My first time on this show.
Oh, this is exciting. This is exciting times. All right, we have a lot of questions. We'll try to do as many as we can, but here we go. In college, you went to Wisconsin, I believe.
I did.
Were you always interested in finance?
I always have been interested in finance. As a matter of fact, my dad, I used to get him for Christmas, Louis Rukeyser's newsletter, the premier newsletter. And
Yep.
I don't know, I'm dating myself, but he used to have a program on, I think it was Friday nights, and whatever
Public access.
yeah, whatever he talked about, on Monday would rally, right? And so my dad loved it, but we talked about investing in finance quite a bit. So it's always been something that I've been interested in.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know you went to TD Ameritrade eventually after college, but what were some odd jobs you did in the finance space before you joined TD Ameritrade?
Well, I started off on the trading floors, and I started at the CME and then moved to the CBOE. And I worked for a variety of firms, trading firms, and then started my own with three other people. And we had about 28 people. We were a small market maker. And then we had a Dutch firm that came looking to acquire us. This was a time when a lot of European firms were interested in getting in the U.S. markets. But my partners were older and they weren't interested. So I told them that I was interested in pursuing it. So I went to work for a Dutch firm, two actually, based in Amsterdam. And we had entities in New York, Amsterdam, actually in a couple places in Europe and in Chicago. And then from there, I sort of gravitated over to the retail side right around the late 2000s.
Got it. And is that when you went to Ameritrade?
First, I went to a company called Thinkorswim
Okay.
with Tom Sosnoff, and we were acquired twice and ended up being acquired, eventually by Schwab.
Yeah. How did you end up joining up with Tom Sosnoff?
He was a friend. Tom was a friend who I had known on the trading floor. I had never worked with him, but we knew of each other, and he was doing some really exciting things. So he had always said, like, you should come and join us. We're doing amazing things, and I finally relented and joined him in 2006.
So that was 2006. So you're at Thinkorswim. What year did you get acquired by Ameritrade?
Oh, first we got acquired by Invest Tools. Then we got acquired by TD Ameritrade in 2009, and then acquired by Schwab in 2019.
Got it. Okay. And then your career eventually takes you to Robinhood. What attracted you at Robinhood?
It was funny. I have three daughters that are in their 20s, and they're starting to, they all have started in the workforce. And being the unusual, annoying father, I was harping on them about the importance of not only making money, but making their money work for them and investing it. And they finally relented one day and showed me that they had opened up Robinhood accounts. I was working at TD Ameritrade at the time. So I'm like, what the heck is going on here? And they said, well, we're going to do it the way we want to do it. And I said, okay, good. I'm supportive of that, and I will help you. So I like to tell people I basically followed my daughters here. I feel
Got
like
it.
this is the next generation, today's
So,
and the next generation of investors.
so do you see like exactly? So your daughters like, okay, they're gonna do Robinhood, and then you looked at it, and so that was part of what attracted to the next generation. Is it? Do you think it's because of the ease of use? Like, what do you think? Why do you think your daughters wanted to use Robinhood versus all the other options that were out there?
All their friends and associates are using it. So they're all, then they talk about it. So they all talk about what they're doing, but they all talk about how they're doing it, and they're not doing it on the traditional. It's funny to call a Schwab or Fidelity or E Trader those traditional, but considering they were the upstarts, when I probably started in retail brokerage, but now I guess they're more traditional. So I think it's what again, you can just look at if you look at our demographics of 23 million people and half of them are first time brokerage users, that's where they are, and
That's
it's
what they are.
exciting. It's really exciting.
The stereotype of Robinhood would have is like, hey, it's just people with $500 accounts. It's just
Exactly.
$500 accounts. Is that still hold true? That stereotype?
No, it doesn't, and it's a it's a narrative that look, I thought the same thing when I wasn't here, but we have a lot of people who are have larger accounts and are buy and hold. We do have younger people. Look, if you look at the if you look at the composition of your customer base and you say that their average age is closer to 30 than 60, they're naturally going to have a smaller account because they haven't had the time to accumulate that wealth. But we do have clients that have some wealth, and they are doing long-term investing. We also have people who trade more frequently, but that's not dissimilar to what you see at other brokerage firms.
Yeah, I mean, I Robinhood, I think on savings right now is giving high fours on
Four
money
nine
market, 4.9. So I was going
with
to say
with
four
two
nine.
million in FDI insurance.
Yeah, the 4.9% with 2 million in FDIC insurance. So I personally have a decent amount of money there, because I could sleep at night, and there was FDIC insurance, and I didn't have to do the 250 at different places.
Yeah,
I
that's
know.
one of the things I was talking to my daughters about. Earlier in the year when we were matching, every hike, I said, go look at your bank or checking account right now and tell me what you're making. A tenth of a percent. I said, look, you can move this money in and out in a day. Why wouldn't you be taking advantage of this? So they did the math and figured out that's a couple $100 a year, right? Difference for
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, and I have it in the FDI, like the cash 4.9. But if I see a stock opportunity, I can pounce. It's right there,
Hmm.
and it's a decent amount of money, and it's that. So I think Robinhood is a trend. I think it took time. I think in the beginning, people, early technology adopters, they adopt technology early,
Yep.
and it's just like when I used to use Google in '97 or '90, no, '99, I think it was, and people weren't using Google. It was my secret weapon. Like people would ask me a question, I would find the answer, and I wouldn't tell them how I did it. The same thing with Robinhood. I think it's a little bit of a secret weapon for certain aspects. I mean, there's different options for different folks. Do you think you'll ever introduce like Robinhood advisors, like financial advisors for people?
I think, look, we took the first couple steps. Like we basically have to grow with our customers. As our customers grow and their needs grow, they're going to need things like, for example, retirement accounts, which we launched in a unique way. Like a good, some 40% of people, of our customers, are either directly or indirectly involved in the gig economy. They don't have a 401k. Nobody's matching their retirement, right? So we came up with a program that matches it and doesn't do it once. It does it on an ongoing basis. Every year we match your contribution. So we're filling in where companies don't exist anymore or don't have a solution. Those are things that, as people grow, they're going to be looking for. We introduced securities lending basically so that they can generate income on a portfolio that they have, a slip program, a securities lending program.
So let's stay on that one for. We're going to go back to the retirement in a minute too, but
Yeah.
I don't think most people understand a securities lending program. So what I picture it as, if I own 100,000 of Tesla shares,
Yep.
if someone wants to short it or whatever, I
Mhm.
can lend out my shares to your pool. and I could earn some income on that. Is that
That's
correct?
exactly right. Yep, you earn income. So for people who, quite a few people take, like I'll give you a prototypical client. 70% of their portfolio is something that they buy and hold for a pretty long extended period of time. There are 30% that they might go back and forth or keep in cash for opportunities. So they can actually take that 70% and say, yes, I'm willing to lend it to whomever market participant needs that for any period of time. And then it generates income for me. So it's like passive income that's coming into your account. And again, if there's a dividend or anything, you get like cash in lieu of the dividend. So it's actually really something that is really powerful for people. Another avenue for them to generate income if they have a sitting portfolio.
Yeah. Is that your beeping on your phone?
Sorry about that. I'll kill it.
Yeah, no, it's you're a popular man.
Not
9 a.m. You got now that was 5 or 6. I don't know who it is. It's either the daughters or work, one of the
it's
two.
it's
But
it's my daughters.
I hear it. I hear it. Just put to vibrate. Okay,
Yes.
they're going crazy. Okay, so that lending program, I don't think anyone else. I mean, maybe I think Interactive Brokers does it, but you make it very easy to do. You make it very easy to lend out your shares. Now, there's nothing. If I just keep it in cash, you can't do that. But if you have stock, there's ways for you to make income, which is pretty powerful.
Hmm.
Now, going to your retirement program, do any brokerages or do most brokerages offer match retirement accounts like you guys do?
Some offer a match, but their match is just on when you bring it over. So, in other words, I'll provide a match, or I'll give you an incentive to roll it over, but that's it. It's a one time thing. So they're just interested in getting the account, and that's it.
Got it.
And what we wanted to do is say, look, the incentive should be, I should incent you to contribute every year, because you'd be like just like a 401k. If you know you're getting match, it's free money basically. And over the course of, like, look, they're younger people, so over the course of 30, 40 years, this really adds up. And so that match continues in perpetuity. As they continue to raise the contribution limits, we match whatever that contribution limit is.
Got it. I mean, which is if you're getting no match right now, it's free money. I mean, I'm not saying it's huge, but it's free money.
It
It's
is
like
free money, yeah, and it's just a unique and intuitive way to save. Now, some of the people that are opening those retirement accounts also have never had a retirement account as well. So for those, and if they're unsure about what they want to invest in, we give them two options. Either you can pick, whatever portfolio you'd like to pick on your own in a self-directed manner, or we have a guided portfolio for you that'll you can select. And it's a basically a basket of super low cost ETFs.
yep. No, it's such a no brainer and such a great offering. All right, I'm going to switch to crypto for a minute.
Yeah.
So Bitcoin is up 100% from its lows of last year, basically. Is Robinhood seeing a big interest in crypto again, or is it still just people on the sidelines?
Um, if you so I'll give you kind of both sides of the coin. If you look at, we have a recurring investment um, capability, but basically I can say I want to purchase something on an ongoing basis. I can say every day, every week, every month, every quarter, every year, etc. Still, the number one most popular instrument in the recurring investment program is Bitcoin. However, I would say the interest, and you can see it across the industry, like it's just been tepid. We're sort of in a bit of a winter, and so crypto overall, the interest overall across the whole spectrum of crypto is down quite a bit. But like I like to say, if you ask our customers, and I'm going to do this in really rough numbers, um, if you ask our customers what they think about crypto as a whole, a third of them are super passionate and huge believers in the space from a technology standpoint and many other utilities. A third of them are what I'll call crypto curious. They've dabbled, they've played in it. They just want exposure because they think there could be an avenue for that. And then finally, a third of them, they're not interested in it. They're just not doing it. They're going to do traditional investing through equities, options, whatever else, cash sweep, whatever else they do. That's kind of the way it cuts across the grain. Our job is to provide them avenues to do whatever they want to do. of course, do it in a suitable manner. But to answer your question more directly, interest is just down generally across the board in crypto, and we're seeing the same thing as the industry is.
Yep. No, 100%.
I would
Rob,
say, one other thing though. We were very, very careful about the way that we evolved our crypto offering. So we didn't list 300 coins. We didn't allow staking. We didn't allow lending. 4,000%. Where you can leverage coins and etc. And we did that intentionally. We were very, very careful about the way we rolled out everything, because we didn't want to put our customers in the scenario that some of them have been put in. And as a result of it, I think, it sounds ironic to say, but we're like a safe play for crypto.
I mean, I would tend to agree. I mean, I can name it from Voyager to BlockFi, Celsius, FTX, all bankrupt, right? I
Yep.
mean, and I was involved with the Voyager one, and it's a sad day for a lot of people that were in USDC and thought it was safe as being in JP Morgan.
Yeah. But when
And I was one of
you would
those.
hear customers, because look, they would ask us to do some of these things. Hey, I'm getting 4,000% here. How come I can't
Yep.
do that here? I'm like, come on, man. You know how this is going to end.
I wonder if Robinhood never came around, what would have happened? Like, would Ameritrade or Schwab never gone to zero fees? Because I remember that day when, sorry, not, I remember the day
Yep.
that when Schwab introduced zero, and then Ameritrade did the same thing the same day. I remember that.
Yep.
Like, it was at 10 a.m. And it was when the Charles Schwab had his book coming out, and yeah, and
I actually think it might have happened anyway.
okay,
But it's really fascinating to think about that whole period of time, and especially living through it and trying to figure out, what was going to happen, because like, even in our days at Ameritrade, we knew exactly, like, if the commissions went away, we knew we would have to grow trading by X% in order to make it revenue neutral, and we just had an assumption that that wasn't going to be possible. Now, 2019 through 21 changed that all because we had such explosive growth.
right, the COVID explosive growth. I mean, part of me is like, hey, when's the next COVID?
Yeah, right.
Not to say I wish upon anything. I'm just saying that you had explosive growth. So yeah, if the Schwab didn't buy Ameritrade out then, you guys probably had way more AUM. The company would have probably sold for 60% higher. But again, like hindsight's 2020, and it really is that. And that's why, I like to look in the rearview mirror sometimes. My dad's like, the front window is so much bigger. Stop thinking about what you could have, should have,
Yeah, yeah,
because honestly, we didn't know COVID was going to happen, right?
right. But I,
So
but
that,
so like, of all the bad things, like, look, people always, talk about, oh my God, COVID, it was terrible for people. And there's so many terrible stories, which I would never want to downplay any of that. But there are, like, for me personally, the positive was I had three daughters that didn't live at home, and suddenly they're living at home again. And so that was,
yep,
it was fun for me, but personally, but to have them home. But I think also one of the other things that happened was we got, like, look, I've spent my whole life thinking everybody's goal in this industry is to get more participants in this industry, because I think it's the greatest wealth creating machine on earth. Investing in addition to your working. And people have struggled for years to convince people, look, have some equity ownership. I'm telling you, in the long run, all you got to do is, like, look, buy a couple simple, cheap broad-based ETFs, and over time, look at the historical returns. You will thank yourself. And it happened partially as a result of COVID. So that's a really positive thing that came out of that. And there
yeah,
are
but
more people participating in the marketplace than there ever have been from a percentage standpoint.
they just may not be trading as often now, but you're 100% right. If you look at historically, the markets are up 10% a year annually over the last 60, 70 years. There's no question about it. In the short term, understand where there's, concerns or what have you, but the market is, and it's a tax efficient, you can
Mm-hmm.
hold long term. And then, I mean, hey, if there was no stock market, you wouldn't know Elon Musk. Meaning like he wouldn't have been able to leverage his shares in Tesla to then go do more spaceships or to go do robotics. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's just, and that's with a lot of companies. So the market is one of those things. Now we're gonna go back to Robinhood for a second. So Robinhood, you guys announced 24-hour trading recently.
We
I
did.
know it's on some select stocks. What's
Mhm.
your thoughts on this 24-hour trading? Are you a big proponent of it, or what are your thoughts on it, Mr. Steve
I've been a
Quirk?
huge proponent of it, just
Okay.
because I think if particularly think about the Robinhood customer that's in, as I said, closer to 30 in age, the idea that they have to wait for, I'm going to self denigrate myself, an old man to ring a bell twice a day for them to be able to participate in a completely electronic marketplace, which trades around the clock globally. Like, it was proven that you didn't need human beings on a trading floor because they weren't there during COVID. I know I came from a trading floor. Um, so they're so accustomed to be able to do whatever they want to do whenever they want to do. Like, Amazon doesn't close. No e-commerce closes. And if you think about like the way the market operates, it is really e-commerce. So I think the reason why traditional exchanges have not extended, look, they've extended their hours, but they haven't gone around the clock, is because they believe that there isn't demand to be around the clock. But there actually is demand, and we're in the process of proving that. So we have about 50 symbols, and where we've seen real nice spikes in volume is around earnings. Think of NVIDIA. They come out with their earnings after the close intentionally, right? Then they talk about it, have a conference call, and all of a sudden the market's not trading anymore. Well, it is trading for our customers, trades all night long. So they have an opportunity to do that and participate in that. Or when there's a lot of news that happens around the globe. It's not just the US that generates the news, and people want to be able to participate when they see those opportunities. So I think in our mind, in 5 years, we're going to look back and say, I can't believe the market wasn't open around the clock. Wasn't always open around the clock. The other thing I think that's really important is a lot of people do their homework. They do some research on stocks, or they educate themselves on what they're going to do with a portfolio or stocks when the market isn't open. They go to work, they come home, they do that homework, and they're like, all right, yeah, I want to buy this stock at $10. Wait, I got to wait till tomorrow morning to do this? Then I'm at work again, right? So it's just a way for them to put an order in and say, I want to buy a stock at $10. I don't really care when it hit $10. It can be in the middle of the night, it can be in the morning, it can be midday. And and I think the other thing I think that's going to be super interesting, hasn't happened yet, but I anticipate it will, is the way trading works is it's chunky. It's super chunky. Like, a whole bunch of volume at the beginning of the day, whole bunch of volume in the middle of the day, or sorry, at the end of the day, right? If you and why is that? There's a whole bunch of volume in the beginning of the day because all the news and all the orders and everything people want to do bunches up and waits for that thing to open. If it's constantly open, you don't have that, right? So you can effectively smooth out some of the thing. And by the way, when the industry has had hiccups, it's because of that bunched up volume.
Yeah. No, no, and that's yeah. When the markets close and there's circuit breakers, it's because the volume and not being orchestrated. So your point is, within 5 years, you think the markets will just be 24/7, basically, or maybe 24/5, 24/5 or 24/7.
Well, it's 24/5 now, but we'd love to get to 24/7. The seven part's a little more difficult because some of the clearing entities and clearing houses they're not structured for weekends. So, and by the
Are you
way,
guys?
but are we? No, we can't do it without the rest of the industry.
No.
So, but we're working on it. By the way, I think that's one of the reasons why people find crypto so refreshing is because it does trade constantly, right? And
Yeah.
real time settlement. So that, to most people, that's like, wow, I'd like that.
I
I'd
mean,
like to get.
you could wire money on a Saturday with
Hmm.
crypto. I did that with someone recently who needed, okay. Back in the day, Robinhood got some criticism for customer service. So,
Yep.
what kind of customer service does Robinhood provide these days?
It's 24/7. We provide 24/7. And it's chat, email, and phone.
Okay.
So yeah. And some of that criticism was warrant because we had such an amazing amount of growth in such a short period of time that we needed to digest it and get the people in place, qualified people in place who could handle communicating with customers. So we're in a good place now, and we've been in a good place for a while. So I think people are, and we see it in our satisfaction and NPS and scores.
Got it. And the 5% interest, 4.9% interest with the $2 million protection. How do you guys do it?
We have a series of banks, that help us with, that each will take 250. Um, and by providing that, I think what dawned on us is, look, we listened to our customers, and what they were telling us is, particularly when the market got rocky, we're looking for yield. We need some yield, and if we're not comfortable investing at this point in time, and like you are doing, or you said you were doing, if you want to park some money and sit there and collect close to 5% while waiting for an opportunity, it's awesome, right?
Yep,
Um, so
100%.
so it's just listening to the customers and hearing what they're saying. Give us an opportunity to generate some yield while we are either waiting for an opportunity or in addition to having a portfolio.
Got it. Yeah, I mean that's what I like about it. Now, in COVID, one of the things that exploded like crazy was options trading.
Yep.
Options trading, which I know you're an expert at. Are you still seeing people trading options, or has that gone down a lot? And then, if it has, what can we do to teach people the benefits of options?
It has gone down, but if you just take a look at equities over the course of, let's call it, the last 5 years, and then options have been growing at a quicker rate than equities.
Say on Robinhood, I own Tesla shares.
Yep.
I'm not that familiar how to write a covered call or what expiration, what strike price, and I don't know you don't want to get into the business of like making trades for customers because then they'll blame it on you.
hmm
But could you ever see a strategy where you guys let the customer say, "I want this strategy," and you guys make that happen?
we actually do have something called Strategy Builder, which is
Okay.
very intuitive, and it's within the app. So as soon as I click on one of the strategies, and like the infographics are beautiful, there's a nice concise summary of exactly what it is that you will be doing. But again, we're self-directed, so people have to choose those. We just want to provide them an avenue to see those and understand how they can easily generate income off a portfolio. So a covered call would be one of those things. There's also ones on there, look, most people start off with some directional bias. And so you just tell us your directional bias. We'll present some different strategies in a very intuitive manner. And then you can just look at them and see what those descriptions are, and what the how that looks from a revenue standpoint.
But
I
you,
do agree. I think look, options can be a really, really, really useful instrument for those who want to use them. Look, some people don't. That they're very comfortable in the equity space, and they don't have an interest in the option space. And we just make sure that if you do, we want to make sure they're using them in a suitable manner.
okay. And then the final before the fun questions is you guys recently presented at a Goldman Sachs conference.
Mhm.
Anything new that you revealed that we don't know?
We're going to the UK. So up to this point, Robinhood's been a domestic company, a US based company. First foray overseas is in the UK. We're already licensed. So I think that changes the whole complexion. Look, every single place, even when I wasn't at Robinhood, when I would travel, because I used to travel quite a bit, and we had, at TD Ameritrade, we had offerings in other countries.
Yep.
Every country I went to, there I would see something, and they'd say, "Yeah, we're the Robin Hood of Australia. We're the Robin Hood of Singapore. We're the Robin Hood of Hong Kong. We're the Robin Hood of Germany." Right? And so we're going to go be the original Robin Hood. Like, we don't have to say we're the Robin Hood. We are the Robin Hood. Right?
Got it. Okay. So now here are the quick fun questions. What was your worst or first job, Steve Quirk?
My first,
Worst or you can do your first or worst job.
my first job was detasseling corn on the back of a trailer. I wouldn't call it my
How
worst.
how old were you?
I was like 14. You can be like 12 when you do that in Wisconsin.
Wow.
My worst was I was a sewer rotter. I worked for somebody as a sewer rotter. So
Wait, wait. Is that when you aug a suit, like when you take a stick and you do the spinny thing to
Yeah,
get
yeah,
like
yeah.
this?
You go in somebody's basement and go through a pipe, or you go outside and dig a hole. Which, of course, I was the one digging the hole.
Okay.
And then you sit down there. But the people I was working for, who were union people, were they were like, I was working too fast for them, and they would tell me, "Hey, slow down, slow down. Nobody's going to come down here. It smells like shit." Pardon
Oh
my
my
language. I
God.
can't say that. Yeah.
Yeah, you could say it. You could say it. So
Okay.
so they just like slow down. No one's coming down there, so you guys can get billed for more hours,
Yeah, yeah.
basically.
Like slow down, and it wasn't in my nature to be like, "Oh, I'm going to sit here for 2 hours and not do anything." So I don't. I think I irritated them.
Yeah, well, I learned how to aug a shower. You know, like how they have the hair and you take
Yeah.
the stick and you spin it. That
Yep.
was like the thing I could do. Like Stacy would call a plumber, and I'd be like, I know how to do this. I bought this thing at Home Depot, and I was so proud of myself. It
Yeah.
wasn't an automatic auger; it was a manual one.
Yep.
But like, you pay a plumber usually 250 to come do that. I could do it in 5 minutes. But
I have one too. Yeah.
oh, you do
Yeah.
the manual one where the
Yep.
hair, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. It's like, but you were going down to the sewer.
Well, we would go down to the sewer because what happens a lot of times is tree roots grow in.
Got it.
They break into the pipe, and that's what. And those are you need something really strong to
So if
get.
they break into the pipes, how do you fix that? You'd have to fix the pipe, wouldn't you?
Well, I think they just make little cracks in the pipe. Sometimes you do have to go fix the pipe afterwards.
Oh
Yeah.
my god! Yeah, we lived in a house, a rental, where a pipe exploded in our basement, and it smelled. It was a mess. We had to move out. It was, and that's where I started Benzinga in that basement. I had to like pick up the computers, my wall, traffic on the walls. I'll never forget it. I literally was jumping over sewers. I do remember when I was cold calling Ameritrade back in the day, and the washer and dryer were right next to where I was working. So sometimes it would buzz, when the
Yeah.
cycle's over, and I would dive under the clothes. Like there was a like a stack of like dirty laundry. When the buzz would go, and I would dive under it because I didn't want you guys to think I'm like at home alone.
Kind of
And it
like
was
my
like,
texts during this
yeah,
podcast.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. You just had to throw your phone against the thing. I literally, when that buzzer went off, I literally like dove because I'm like, I got to fake it till I make it. Just like we all do in some respect. But it's been great having it's Robinhood. I think has been great for the industry in terms of opening up way more options for people to get in the market, and it truly has. I mean, I get more text messages. Hey, Jason, what do you think I should buy? I have $800 here. What do you think I should do? Or 2,000. And these are people that would never have been open to the market. They just would
Right.
never have been. And to get 4.9 in cash, 2 million FDIC insured, you don't need to go buy a T-bill. I mean, it's really simple. I mean, I have real money at Robinhood, and it was really simple to set it up. It was really simple to set it up, and I'm not in some crazy thing. I'm in some conservative thing, and when I want to put it in the market, I will. And I'll probably buy an index like a VOO or
Mhm.
something. Would Robinhood ever introduce indexes?
You mean like
Yeah, like there's like VOO. I don't know if that's Vanguard or something. I don't know.
Well, I think we have a lot of those funds, either
Okay.
funds or ETFs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Would you guys ever introduce your own ETFs? I guess is what I'm
would
asking.
we introduce our own ETF? We considered it because we have an index which we call the RIX, which basically taught it
You call,
basically
you call it the Ricks?
yeah
Okay.
it
There's
it,
a,
ba-
there's another Rick.
it basically it looks at our clients' portfolios and their behaviors versus the overall broad-based market. And again, another reason we did that was because there's a tired old narrative that retail customers buy at the top and sell at the bottom, which actually is not true. So you can tell people that, or you can just show them the data, and it's much more powerful to just show them the data.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, that's could be interesting. All right, I think we've covered it. There's a lot more you can cover with Steve Quirk. Runs brokerage at Robinhood. There's a lot more. He's a lot more than just brokerage. One of the biggest Wisconsin fans, football fans, Green Bay, and probably other things too. But to get for brokerage for this FinTech Power Hour, I know we have a FinTech Deal Day in New York. I think Steve will be there. But this is one of the guys who knows the industry like back of his hand, and just one of the guys. If you read about him, you'll see. I mean, you're guy, like products that you guys are making that'll be introduced in Robinhood. Your hands will usually be intimately tied with that. Correct?
Yes,
Yeah, it makes sense. So so the lesson here is you're in good hands because you've been in this industry for how many years? I don't want to age you, but how many years, Steve?
I've been here since 1987.
1987. So, all right, I got to take my calculator out. So 87 to 2013, and then 2000 to 23. So 23 plus 13, 23, okay. You
36.
get that? 36 years. That's my Howard Stern joke. He always does that, like with his math. And so I think it's really funny. It's trying to pretend like I'm him, even though I could have calculated that quicker. But 36 years. All right. So the guy's been around the block. This is not a Johnny come lately that you can't trust, so that's good. All right. Well, thank you for coming on the Raz Report,
Thanks
our
for having
FinTech
me.
Power Hour. Appreciate it. It's a long time coming. Congrats on the success at Robinhood, and looking forward to more to it. And see Steve at FinTech Deal Day. And thank you for coming on again.
Thank you.